Good day, mates. I'm Mick, and welcome to the Maple Bloke Show. Today we've got a showcase on some amazing maples from Australia. Hey guys, welcome to the MrMaple Show. We're trying some new things out here. This show we're going to be calling our Saturday Showcase, so thanks for tuning into this. Thanks for that intro from my cousin from Australia. We really appreciate you guys tuning into this one. Today's theme is going to be Japanese maples from Australia, and we hope you enjoy this one.
I'm Tim. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with your gardening friends. Today we've got some cool Japanese maples from down under that you're going to be super excited about. Some of these aren't available right now, so you can go sign up for our weekly emails. You will get notified that way, but you can also go to MrMaple.com, type in these plants' names, and put in your email to be notified specifically when each selection becomes available as well.
Hey, shout out to our international community. You guys are a big part of our channel. We really appreciate you. We want to talk about some fun trees from Australia. Hopefully I didn't run all of our Australian viewers off with that terrible accent earlier, but we wanted to have some fun with this one and kind of go at a showcase with a little different approach. Today we're going to do it by country. We're going to talk about some of our favorite trees we're growing here from Australia on today's Saturday Showcase. Now we're going to use this show to focus on collections. So if you like that Red Maple Nurseries collection, if you like that Ghost Series video, if you enjoy that kind of stuff like the Pendle's Treasures collection, you're going to find this right here on our Saturday Showcases going forward. We're going to be premiering these videos at 9 a.m. and it's going to be a fun way to kind of showcase some new stuff for you guys, put it together in a different format, and hopefully it's something you like. If you like this kind of thing, let us know in the comment section below if this is something you're interested in.
So without further ado, we'll start with one of our favorites from the group here. And it's a selection from our friends at Nishiki Nursery, Acer Palmatum Emerald Sunset.
Okay, so this could go on a top favorite list of mine, period. It's one I saw and I sought after, and once I saw it, I just went nuts. It's got that purple fingered border to it, kind of reminiscent of Tsumagaki. I would say it's a little more heat tolerant than Tsumagaki and a little dwarfer. It's got a great shape to it. It's a small upright with a really exaggerated border in the early spring and a great leaf shape too.
And the thing I like about it is that border holds longer throughout the summer than a lot of the other purple bordered selections. And that's one of the reasons that I've grown so in love with it. But also the leaf is a more chartreuse grain with that purple border in the spring.
I've seen bold oranges to reds in the fall on this one. It makes a small upright. Love this tree for the color. That border though, I mean, when people see this one in person, we've offered it several times online. I know Brian got one. It was one of his personal favorites. He told me that he cried a little bit when he left this one in the Oklahoma garden. It was the one, he's joking about that, but it's the one that, one of the ones that hit him the hardest to leave behind was that Emerald Sunset. So you know we got to get Brian one of these. I joke that if our video doesn't sell a tree to Brian, we did the wrong video. But this is one of his personal favorites, and I think any maple collector that gets this one in front of them, it's just one that you're gonna have to grow it. Everybody that's seen this one in person takes one home.
We've been friends with Nishiki Nursery for years. It's a selection by them that they introduced. And Reese Bowden actually came and visited us here, and we took him by some local restaurants, some local favorite restaurants.
We took him to 12 Bones, so if you know the Asheville area, we went to 12 Bones. It's a barbecue and ribs place.
And he said, "What's this cheer wine?" He said, "I think I'll try it." It's a Southern soda.
That's a North Carolina thing even. Like, cheer wine's real specific to our area. If you ever try it, it's pretty good, but it's an acquired taste. We shocked Brian with that when he moved here from Oklahoma too. It's a little shock to the system.
And he said, "What is this? This tastes like rocket fuel because it's just so thick. It's like a thick corn
we got the cheer wine and the sun drop here in North Carolina that will knock your socks off." But yeah, it's really great people there at Nishiki Nursery. Shout out to Reese Bowden if you see this one. Really good friends there. If it hadn't been for lockdowns, we probably have already went and visited them in Australia. I think very fondly of those guys. Really unique nursery there in Australia. And yeah, hopefully we can do more stuff with them in the future and talk about some of their other introductions. But Emerald Sunset, probably my favorite one distinctly from them that I've seen so far. Really a showstopper and just excellent foliage. I mean, this one's gonna have a really nice purple border to it. That's one of the things is it's very defined. It's a little crisper than many. It's just a really unique way to look at it.
And next up, we've got a few different ones by Yamina Rare Plant Nursery.
Yeah.
And they introduced a lot of plants from Acer Roofer Nerve Winter Gold to some of these that we're gonna be talking about today. And AJT's introduced so many cool plants that have now become in the nursery trade.
Oh yeah. So first up here we have Kunara Pygmy. Now this is a witch's broom. Check out our What is a Witch's Broom video. That's the kind of content you'll get here too. Maybe we'll do a whole witch's broom breakdown on the table for this Saturday showcase. But today we're going to be talking about Kunara Pygmy. Now this was actually a tree found at an Italian restaurant in Australia. So Kunara restaurant, they were sitting there and it has some beautiful gardens around it. And while he was eating, he saw this broom in a tree and he got permission and came back and grafted it. And that's what became Kunara Pygmy. By grafting that dwarf mutation, he got a really nice compact growth habit form. And one of the things I like about this one versus some of the other green dwarfs is those secondary flushes are a really nice pink. This one, especially in the early spring, has some really nice pink hues over top of the green.
Yeah, amazing little witch's broom that gives you some really compact rounded shapes on the plant itself. And it just makes a really nice fall color, you know, shrub-like Japanese maple that can give you some nice greens, but also just a real dense, compact habit. I mean, it's not something that spreads out real wide. It just stays very compact and dense, which makes this an excellent plant for a lot of those smaller spaces.
Oh, excellent container garden, excellent conifer garden, really unique dwarf. It is kind of vigorous at first, but then as it slows down, it tends to get more globular and more of a ball shape. Really great plant though.
And we actually contacted Yamina Rare Plant Nursery to find out the history behind some of these plants. And it was crazy because when we were really getting into Japanese maples.
Oh, we're talking like 08, back when we started calling them and emailing them.
And we were emailing them, really just digging in, trying to find out the history. They were like, oh, you're from East Flat Rock, North Carolina. We were there last year at over
Flat Rock Playhouse.
The Flat Rock Playhouse, which is like 5-6 minutes away
from our house, which blew our mind. Would love to get a trip to Australia going. I mean, maybe one day we can do it again and kind of highlight some of these places. There's so much fun plant history there. And I mean, it's completely the other side of the world. Australia right now is in winter. So as we're going into fall, they're kind of getting closer to spring. So it's almost exact opposites there, but awesome plant to be growing, Kunara Pygmy.
And next up, we've got a plant that's gotten somewhat mixed up in the nursery trade. This is Acer palmatum peaches and cream.
Now, I find this to be the original form. We've done a video on this one from our parents' garden. I think a lot of what's sold in the trade is now white peaches. So I think there's a sport that can form on this that's very unique and a great plant, but oftentimes people will start out with peaches and cream and they end up with white peaches. It's an awesome plant as well, but the original form on this is spectacular. It has some great color patterns to it. This one has more peach than you've ever seen on a reticulated form.
Now, how do you know if you've got peaches and cream or white peaches? Look at your Japanese maple. If it's got a purple border in the spring, it's probably white peaches. If it's a tree that has that peachy color, you can go to our website and look at that peachy color in the spring, you've got peaches and cream.
And I do think that's gotten mixed up a good bit in the trade, and it may be a variation that people are actually trying to graft the right thing but getting a sport that's reoccurring too.
Yeah.
And that may be the case. I've seen the original peaches and cream in J.D. Vertree's garden that he got from Australia when he was writing the books, and it is the correct peach form with J.D. Vertree's. It's that original peach form that we in Talon Buckholt show. I think it's an awesome plant. It is one of the brightest peach pink reticulated forms. I mean, it'll blow your socks off. It really encompasses peaches and cream because it has white creamy stages with flushes of pink over top of that.
And that spring peach color where you get the peach and then the cream with it is just outstanding. It's unlike any of the other reticulated types, and it definitely stands out on its spring colors. I see during the summer they look very similar.
Right.
White peaches and cream. So I definitely understand where the confusion is happening.
Yeah, we're shooting this video in September right now of 2022, so our colors are at their least eventful time of the year for this. But we'll throw some colors into the spring color here. One of our favorite maples. So I know it was one of Dad's favorites. Early on, when my dad was running this nursery, he grafted the original form of peaches and cream a ton. And there's a gorgeous specimen of this in his garden.
And typically outside in the landscape, which can be different in a greenhouse, you get a pure yellow fall color on peaches and cream. I'm talking like a really crisp, pure yellow fall color, which really helps this tree stand out from some of the other types because it's more of that pure yellow rather than a yellow infused with oranges and reds.
And that can be a little contested with different nurseries that produce this one, but I will say Talon maintains the exact same form, and so does J.D. Vertree, so I think that's good company to be in for getting it correct. Awesome plant. And again, I love white peaches too, but check out the OG original form of peaches and cream. It is spectacular. You can sign up to get notified if any of these are on our website currently as well. So if it's not up here now, you can put your email in, and hey, when we have that, we'll shoot you an email and let you know when it's ready.
And if we didn't mention, this is a Yamina Rare Plant Nursery. The next up, Acer Japanum Fairy Lights, is also a Yamina Rare Plant Nursery selection. And it's a dwarf you know, a dwarf, very slow growing Acer japonicum selection, and it's one of the slower growing Acer japonicum selections besides something like Gossamer. I mean, it's just a little bit faster growing.
Yeah, it's probably
than
the
Gossamer.
next smallest one. It's easy to see why Fairy Lights has become popular with the onslaught of fairy gardens. It's perfectly named. It's perfectly, you know, textured and colored for a fairy garden. This is going to leaf out in the early spring with red tassel flowers. It is a gorgeous, compact form of Acer japonicum. Now, you're going to get everything you love with the Acer japonicums with this as well. Those bright oranges, reds, and yellows in the fall, but on a very small, compact habit. It's going to look excellent in the container garden, but also excellent in the ground. Now, this one is a very slow grower, so if you're looking for this one in sizes, they're typically very small because it's not going to be a plant that gets out there quickly. It is a true dwarf.
And like Matt said, it's one of our, when we list it, it goes out and sells out really quickly. Fairy Lights is a slow grower. It's in high demand. And so to get something this size, I mean, this is almost...
It's a 3-year, 1 gallon.
That's almost a 3-year, 1 gallon. So it takes a while to get there, even a nursery setting, even being fertilized. So it is a true dwarf. Mm-hmm. We've got one of these out at Maplewood Gardens. I think we
I've got a 20-year-old specimen of this that is closer to 3x3 than anything more, maybe even shorter than that, but it's a small, compact habit.
And I think Peaches and Cream and Fairy Lights, we both have full videos on each cultivar on the Mr. Maple Show. So you can go and check out those 2 videos specifically to see more about both of those plants if you want to check out more on those 2 trees.
Yeah, so next up on the table, we've got a very unique one we recently had on a 10-10. By the time you're seeing this one, it probably did sell out. It's been quite popular. This is Acer palmatum horizontalis.
Now, horizontalis is a unique, it's a horizontal weeping tree. So it's less hooking and weeping like something like a Giro Shidari. It's more horizontal and slowly cascading because of its horizontal shape. And the other thing I've really noticed about this that stands out from the other weeping selections is it really has a more serrated edge down the leaves, which definitely gives it something different as well.
Exceptionally heat tolerant. I would suggest the way to grow this one is putting it out and not staking it and let it reach that width. It's going to be a horizontal tree, and the arching is very horizontal. I mean, it's perfectly named. You know, a lot of them are going to arch down. Ryusun's going to weep straight down and then make a ground cover. This one's going to make a flat little tabletop. It literally gets wide. You can stake it to get some height in it if you want to make kind of some different tiers there, but I recommend just letting it get wide and low, enjoying it for a heat tolerant weeping form that's very unique.
And I would assume this is a Nishiki nursery introduction. I know that they're definitely growing it and making it very popular in Australia, but it's not available in any other country than Australia that I know
Yeah,
of.
it's the first time it's ever been offered in the United States when we listed it on a recent 10 at 10. Very unique tree. Bold oranges to reds in the fall. I've seen both. Some really nice red color some seasons. Very unique tree. Nice lime green stemming to it as well. It's been exceptionally heat tolerant for us. We'll have to get some more of these in the ground and do a full focus video on it because I think it's going to be one we keep up on our numbers on here at Mr. Maple. Really unique tree that just adds a little something unique to that pendulous collection. I think it's a little more outside the box and a little different than a lot of what we've offered.
Now, there are plenty of other Japanese maples that have been introduced in Australia. These are just 6 different selections.
Yeah, these are some of our favorites that we're growing here at our nursery. There's several more we could have listed.
And John Tuvan is going to finish us off on today's episode.
Yeah, now this is an introduction by Nishiki Nursery. John Trayvon is a collector there in Victoria that Reese Bowden knows well. This one's a unique plant that they grafted, and Brian had the best description of this one. I'll just let Brian's words work for this one. He said this one leaves out Barney purple in the spring. Now, he's already got one planted in his garden, so he's got the inside scoop on you guys. This one hadn't come out yet, but Brian saw this one in the spring and was like, man, I'm planting that one. It is a unique color of lavendery purple for sure in the early spring with a nice green stemming to it.
Now, it's not a reticulated type, so it's one of the more purple red Japanese maples that's not reticulated.
It's a full color.
Yeah, and it definitely stands out. It was a chance seedling,
right,
like you talked about, and so it's one that's not really hit the U.S. market yet either.
When we list it, it'll be the first time it's been out there in the United States, I'm fairly certain.
So here we're bringing you some plants that, not necessarily Area 51, but they're definitely under lock and key at Mr. Maple,
right,
about to become available for some of the first time in the United States.
Brian twisted my arm and got one of these in the ground here already, so you'll have to check out Brian's garden. But amazing plant. I like that it has kind of a greener bark. Again, we're shooting this in September, so it is a little bit greener before that fall color. but we wanted to get it on camera and talk to you about it. I love that lavendery spring take on it.
Yeah, this is definitely a Japanese maple that is very unique and very different from all the different varieties of Japanese maples we have here at MrMaple. And when we produce over 1,000, we say that is just a number. We have to do a recount, and it's way higher than 1,000.
Closer to over 1,500 for sure if we're being conservative.
It's definitely, the number is getting up there, but this is one that definitely stands out from the crowd. And it's one that, when we offer it, I don't think it's going to last very long.
Right.
So you can go sign up on MrMaple for John Tavon. And definitely a really cool plant that's very unique and different.
These are just some home run hitters. These are some of our favorite selections from Australia. Let us know, guys, if you're enjoying this showcase. This is our Saturday showcase. We're going to bring, again, collection style format videos to you on this in the premiere. I hope you guys enjoy this. We are passionate about trees and we love sharing stuff like this. So let us know if you like this collection of Australia. If there's other collections you would like for us to encompass into the show, like witches' brooms, or we're definitely going to be doing deeper dives into Talon Buckholtz's collection and doing nursery highlights on specific nurseries, like that red maple nursery. I know we have a Del Laux video in the works right now. So guys, stay tuned for these. They're going to keep airing every Saturday on the Saturday Showcase. And we wanted to get Australia on camera here today. I mean, there's some fun ones. I know my 3-year-old, she watches Bluey so much, sometimes she starts talking in an Australian accent to me. I know anybody, parents out there that watch Bluey, know what I'm talking about. Your kids start speaking in an Australian accent because they watch so much Bluey. But amazing collection of plants here from Australia, and I wanted to get them out here today and talk about them a little bit.
I think this will maybe open your eyes a little bit, that there's Japanese maples getting introduced here in East Flat Rock. There's Japanese maples getting introduced in Oregon. There's Japanese maples getting introduced in Europe. There's Japanese maples getting introduced in Japan, obviously.
Right.
But even Australia. So all over the world, there's this Japanese maple phenomenon of people who love Japanese maples, who are growing them. And you've probably seen that in the comment section below of everyone who's our international community. We hope this sort of helps you all feel a little bit included. These are some maples that you can probably find in your area for all of our viewers out there in Australia. And we really appreciate y'all watching.
Yeah, thanks so much. Shout out to the international community. Again, we apologize we can't ship to you guys, but we greatly appreciate you tuning into our videos. We're going to start premiering more videos on this channel as we get into an almost broadcasting format. We'll have a plan each day for what shows we're going to air, and we're going to be airing some unique content like that. I think you're going to enjoy it. Saturdays are our showcase show, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And it just gives us more formats to talk to you about what we're passionate about, and that's Japanese maple. So we hope you guys have enjoyed the show today. Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.